I get so many comments saying the patriarchy has nothing to do with diet culture and women wanting to make themselves smaller, look at their unrealistic beauty standards. So I want to come in and I'll give one example today, because obviously there's a lot in history. I want to take you back to the 1970s, where women were working in the workplace, but they were under scrutiny for the way that they looked. They were getting hired and fired for their aesthetics, not because of their competence of the job, not because of their intellect or their intelligence or their ability to do a job. It was because of the way they looked. And some women went to court and fought this, and legislations were coming in, laws were coming in that actually supported companies being able to hire and fire women for the way they looked. And 95% of people on the board making those legislations, making those laws, were men. So women went into court, they fought this, and a lot of them lost. And a lot of them, even though they were standing up for like, this is not right, you cannot fire me for the way, based on the way that I look, they were fighting against a system that was just not in their favour. So women had two choices. They either fight it out in the courts, where so many brave women and strong women did, but obviously not always got the results that they hoped for, or they played the game. They shrank themselves, they looked at their beauty, they started tying their worth to the way they looked and the number on their scales. And guess who was watching? The diet industry. So that is just a snippet of actually why patriarchal systems have contributed to the diet industry, to women wanting to make themselves smaller. And to me, it's keeping this like gender hierarchy in place, keeping women small. So that's just a little bit. There's so many other stories in history around this stuff, but this is why I fight against it, and this is why it's important to recognise that this hasn't come out of nowhere. And of course, with that as well, I'd say this ended up with women competing against each other, comparing against each other, because that's what you were taught, that your worth was tied to the aesthetics. So hope you enjoyed that, but I thought it's important to actually talk about that side of it as well, and why we need to keep on calling it out.